You're listening to Warrior Talk with Heather Thomas Van Deren and Brant Fricker. Get inspired. Be empowered. Warrior Talk.
Everybody, welcome to another Warrior Talk. Get inspired and be empowered. I'm Heather Thomas Van Deren, in case you didn't know, and I'm here with my co-host Brant Fricker, Sir Brant Fricker. How are you, Brant?
Oh,
Really?
I'm feeling very sir-like today, and I'm not feeling surly. I'm feeling sir-like. You're
That's
so
good.
surly.
I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine you being surly.
I'm not surly. Oh, hey, you never know. You never know. There, we that passion runs. It's a double-edged sword, and when I'm ready to fight the devil, boy, I'm ready to fight the devil. But today, I'm very joyous to be with you. I'm joyous to be with you. And I'm really excited about the topic because everyone needs to hear it right now, uh,
Yes.
especially following the clown show of the last several days. So,
That
yeah,
and a plethora of other things, but
plethora. Yeah.
let's talk about last week.
Um,
We covered the topic lost souls.
yeah.
How many of you have had an opportunity over the past week to share the gospel with someone? To reach out to help someone in need
Yeah.
and point them to Jesus. Man, we got to be part of the harvest. It's ripe right now, is it not, Brent?
It is. It is. People are looking for answers. Between the mothership on its way and the no clowns, no kings protest and all this mindlessness going on and craziness
Mhm.
going on. No matter where you come from, I know people on both sides of the aisle. They're like, "This is all nuts, man." Well,
It is.
it's because you know what you're either in the show or you are the show. But within this mayhem, there are people who they need God. They need the love of God. You may be the only
Mhm.
Bible they read.
That's right.
So that's why it's important to be ready to make an
Mhm.
impact and just to be you. Jesus in you as you so that you can reach those lost souls.
That's right. Yeah. God doesn't require us to be anybody other than who He made us to be.
Eh,
And
Good
if
thing.
we can step into that and realize that our life has already been written and just walk in it, we got it made, y'all. Got it made. So today, our topic is called, now y'all can figure this out as we go, but our topic is called, Who is They?
Who is they? Hey, well, you know what they say, Heather.
Yeah, they say a lot of things, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Are they in the room with us right now?
I don't know, they might be.
Yeah, it's important to know who they is and who they ain't.
Right.
Reminds me of kids back in the 80s. Remember the malls? But it was so entertaining because these, wonderful kids, but walk around and so self-conscious because they think everyone's looking at them. But nobody's looking at them because they all think someone's looking at them. And that's the they that really doesn't exist. And so it's important, that you don't act on the advice of they when really
Yeah.
a lot of times
Yeah.
the they is just a thought in somebody's, head. Or it's like Cliff Clavin on Cheers, the postman in the Cheers. They used to dance naked in ancient, Aborigines. I mean, he would just make stuff up and say they, and I think we all
Yeah.
did it. Well, you know what they say.
Th- uh,
No, I
That's
don't.
right.
And
No.
that's why we have to know our source.
Yeah, be informed, people. My husband used to always say, trust but verify, HT, trust but
Uh-huh.
verify.
Mhm.
And boy, was he right. Especially in the days that we live in right now. That has always been one of my pet peeves, Brant. It's when I just get so irritated when somebody tells me, well, they say that you should take 2 teaspoons of whatever, every day for long life. And I'm like, who's they? It's probably something. Just tell me who they is, and then I might pay a little attention to it.
Oh man, I
and
know.
and a lot of things are handed down through the generations because your great great grandmother told somebody one time that they said, to take a teaspoon of castor oil every morning, and those poor kids that were forced into that their whole life. you know there there is some validity to that, but who is they? Who started the
Right.
rumor?
Or they said that you should drive with your mask on alone in the car because you might get yourself sick. Right? They. Oh my
They.
gosh. How many people have ruined their lives, you know, because of they that did not exist. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And all that's so here's a good source. First Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant,
mm-hmm.
because your adversary, your accuser,
Yep.
uh, the devil, roams
Yep.
around as a roaring lion,
Not a lion.
right?
Yep.
But as seeking who he may devour. And it's very, very important. We don't usually focus on the sober in that scripture,
Mm-hmm.
but that word nepho, basically to be sober minded, to abstain from wine, or some meanings might mean that. But in the Strong's Concordance, G 3525, to be calm and collective in spirit. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know what? When they are talking about this, that, and the other, guess what? You need to be calm and collective. Be calm and collective. Well, that's what sober literally means. So,
Yeah.
in a world of they, we have to be calm and collective. Matthew also says something. What does it say there?
Yeah, I thought about this, that they have an agenda. If they are opposed to Jesus Christ and the God that made us all, they may have an agenda.
Yeah.
Just like Jesus said in Matthew 24:24, that the false messiahs and prophets and all that stuff
Yeah.
will arise, and they'll perform these wonders, and they'll do all of these great things to deceive even us,
Mm,
y'all, the elect,
yeah.
Christians, believers, Jesus followers. Don't think that we are above falling into the trap. And, you know, I can tell you for a truth that I've been deceived sometimes, and it wasn't fun.
Uh-huh.
And even when you think you know what's going on and you got a handle on things, and then you realize you've been duped,
Right.
uh, we have to be careful. We have to be aware that even things that we perceive to be practical information, if you don't know where it's coming from, you better check the source,
Hmm.
because it could actually be something that the enemy is using to throw you off course, if not destroy you altogether.
Yeah, and it could be coming from the exact problem too.
Hmm.
Especially
Exactly.
when there's gossip. I shared a meme a
Hmm.
while back. You be careful when you're hearing about something bad about somebody. You may be hearing from the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Who at one time was someone who was being helped by that person, or had befriended that person. And social media is the worst. That's why there's keyboard warriors.
Hmm.
Boy, they're strong.
They
I
are.
I like to respond to news stories from time to time, and someone will jump on there. I'll direct message them, and I'll say, you're pretty brave behind that keyboard, aren't you, boy? Oh
Yeah.
boy, they jump off because they're cowards.
Hmm.
Those are actually really people. Many times it's not actually a person; it's AI. That's a whole nother
Hmm.
thing there. But you know a few things about keyboard warriors too, don't you, Heather?
Oh, it just happened to me recently. And I I responded back. But the bad thing about it was that I let it get to me.
Mm.
So I have this donkey, this old donkey, and she has this huge camel roll down her neck because
Uh-huh.
she had been obese at one time. Well, I actually rescued her. The next day she was going on a trailer to a Mexico slaughterhouse, and I paid $300 for her to save her life. And I love this donkey. And this donkey is very spoiled, very well taken care of. And I had posted a video of my donkey. Now everybody's going to run to my farm Facebook page and watch it, right? But you know, these keyboard warriors that probably didn't even have the audio turned up saw this donkey with this fat on her neck and hanging her head, and she's kind of like Eeyore. She's just droopy. She just never in a hurry to do anything. I got lambasted by people I didn't even know, saying that I wasn't taking care of that donkey, that poor donkey. She's in so much pain. Oh, you better put her on a diet and this and that and the other. And it got my goat, or got my donkey.
You got
I
your
will have
donkey.
got my donkey. I will have to admit it got me angry. Be- because you have these people behind the keyboard. These were not even my Facebook friends. And
Right.
Danielle, if you're watching, this does not include you. But these are not even my Facebook friends. They're just people that see my public post and maybe they're following me. I don't know. They don't know me. They don't know a thing. And really, they
Mhm.
can seek to destroy your reputation, your honor, your integrity, just by doing stuff like that.
Right.
Because if you're not careful, you'll read that and you'll go, man, I
Mhm.
thought that she was better than that. She's not taking care of this donkey. And,
Yeah.
and then rumors start. Heather's an animal abuser, whatever. Be
Well,
careful and have
yeah.
have a thick skin and
Have a
have
think.
it, which I
Yeah.
repented. I repented and I got my mind back on track where it belonged
Well,
after that.
when we talked about that yesterday as well, it reminded me of that story of that guy who had a donkey and he wanted to take that donkey to the village. And so, he goes to the first village, he's riding his donkey like he should. And the people, well, look at that. Like, he's riding that poor donkey in the heat of the day. That's what donkeys are for. So he's worried about what they may think, right? He only heard one person actually say something, but so then he goes to the next village and he sees their steers and he'd already gotten off the donkey. He's walking beside the donkey and he's probably thinking, they're probably thinking, what an idiot just walking beside his donkey. He needs to be riding him. Was something wrong with the donkey? And then, he goes to the third village and right before he gets there, he thinks, well, gosh, I just can't make anybody happy, can I? And so he starts carrying the donkey. Now someone really says something. Why is he carrying that donkey? That's crazy, and he's worried about what they will think. And finally, he's still carrying the donkey. He goes over this bridge and all of a sudden a gust of wind blows Heine, his donkey, off of his shoulders and down into the gorge where he is dead, dead, dead.
Poor donkey.
Poor donkey. And the more of the story is, if you try to please everybody, you'll lose your hiney. Well, if you try to please everybody, which who is everybody?
Yeah,
Who cares what they think? Who is they? Then
that's right.
you're not gonna progress in life. You're not gonna get anywhere in life. And it's just so
True.
funny. But haven't you heard all your life what they say? Yeah, well, you know what they say. They say
Yeah.
the Lord helps those who help themselves. That's nowhere in the Bible. Well,
Nope.
they say, what are some other they says there, Heather?
Oh, well, always wear black because it's going to make you look thinner.
Right.
Oh, we're wearing black today.
Now, I have to say, though, is there any other color but black? I mean, that's just me.
Not not for you.
Every day is Johnny Cash Day for me. But anyway, yeah, I hear you.
Or how about they say all men, they're the same.
Yeah.
You know, all women, they're the same.
Oh, you know what they say.
Who is they?
But
And
blondes have more fun.
well,
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they
but
don't.
but who started that ugly rumor? That's what I want to know.
I know what I don't know. They say diamonds are a girl's best friend. Well, Marilyn Monroe said that. And she was
That's
blonde.
right. But you know what a best friend for me is?
What?
I just bought a used cattle chute yesterday.
Hey.
And and put it out by my barn, and I'm the happiest girl in the whole USA. So diamonds, give me a cattle shoot.
Hey, you know what they say? A cow way to a cowgirl's heart is with the cattle shoot. So I just made that one up. Or they say you can't fix stupid. Although there is truth to what they say, but they really don't exist, or
That's it.
you're not
Oh
you're really not in
my
danger.
gosh.
All's illusion. I mean, but how many times have we based our life on that? What they,
Yeah.
or how many times have you been arguing with some blue-haired Nazi only to find out that it was AI? It wasn't.
Yeah.
Whenever I've been responding to news stories because I'm connected with some news, folks, and
Right.
but within as soon as I press enter to post my response, as if it matters, I just get a kick out of it. But hopefully, I want them to click on because I want them to see some of the shows like Warrior Talk and things like that. Hopefully, they'll be better influenced. But immediately, there's some AI woman that pops up on Facebook with a friend request, and
Yeah.
I click and I block. You know,
Hmm.
but before I
Hmm.
block, they only have one friend each and every time. It's because it's AI.
Yeah.
So don't put energy into the wrong things.
Mm-mm. No, and no doom scrolling, guys. That can get you into
Yeah,
trouble. You
yeah,
know, if you're bored, then put the phone down.
right,
Go walk outside, breathe some fresh air, go, mow the lawn, go plant some flowers, go do something. But don't doom scroll because that is why they call it doom scroll.
right.
You'll start conditioning your mind. First of all, and this is a side note, we didn't even talk about this, but I learned a long time ago that everything that you hear and see, your mind is like a computer, and it's intake, and it records everything that you hear and you see, whether you think you're even paying attention or not. So doom scrolling is very, very bad for your spirit, for your soul, for your mind. And you'll find yourself believing stuff that you heard somewhere on Facebook a long time ago. You don't know where, but you received it and you thought that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll input that into my computer as fact. And whew, it can get you in trouble.
Well, yeah, and I learned something new too, which is that uh, you have to be careful how you respond and why you're responding,
Yeah.
because now we live in such a deceptive world where sound bites and news is released not to
Hmm.
inform, but to get clicks
Yeah.
because that translates into ad revenue and money. And
Yeah.
I came upon a strategy that people are using now, and they said the best way to get clicks is to be wrong, is to type in something outlandish
Hmm.
that is wrong,
Yeah.
so that more people will respond. And that's horrible. There's not a lot of character in that. Purposely type
No.
something that is fake so you get the clicks. Well, number one, that says you have no integrity. Secondly, you don't care
Right.
about who's reading it. You don't care about the damage it does. I mean, look
Right.
at the rhetoric coming from the communists now. Oh, it's on both sides. No, it's not. No, no. Blood in the streets and a threat to democracy, and then they're making fun of Charlie being shot.
Yeah.
These Luciferian animals, and
Well,
you cannot be a Christian and be that. By the way,
no, you
yeah,
you really can't. Who's the father of lies,
right,
Brad?
right, Lucifer. And so, understand that when you're tempted to respond to something that is wrong, they may know it's wrong too, and you're wasting your energy. They just wanted to use you for the click. But I mean, gosh, empty words, power seekers, sick people, always looking for a temporary platform. What's going to happen 5 years from now, 1,000 years from now? What if social media went away, which it can? People are forgetting 2012. 24 world leaders met with Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Yahoo. The list goes on to silence Christian speech. if you put so much of your life into this, what happens when it's turned off? And so if you haven't built a life outside of that, or even a career outside of that, I feel sorry for you. But like this staged, no King's March. MSNBC was reprimanded for showing live footage from 2017 and AI. Well,
Yes.
they don't care. They don't
Mm-mm.
care. It was about the click. It wasn't to inform you. It was about
Mm-mm.
the click. Protests with no purpose. How many times you see people walk up? What are you protesting? We don't know. We're paid. Empty people, empty minds, no God. But we know who the real king is, and we don't
Absolutely.
have to defend him, but I am outspoken about him, and so are you. So you can't let those kind of things affect you. There's only one power in a name, and that is in the name of Jesus, Yeshua
Yeah.
HaMashiach.
Hmm.
And I'll put my energy and emotional energy into him.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay informed, study up, keep your mind on the word and in the word,
Right,
because that, the sword, the word of God. I mean, we talk about Ephesians 6 all of the time, and the Knight's Creed all of the time.
right.
That is where your source of power, strength, stability, a right mind, renewing of your mind every day, that's where it all comes from, is the power that comes only from God and his word. And golly, you forsake that and you become fodder for anything, anybody.
Right.
And it just leads to destruction. You actually can be part of your own self-destruction
Mm-hmm.
by engaging in those things. So you have to stand firm, put on the full armor of God, and know that you were sent here to be a warrior for the king, the real king.
Right. And have discernment, we're living in a world, they're poisoning your water, your food, your air. You know, uh,
Yeah,
we kind of said a joke the other day. Why are the skies so clear? Because the government shut down. Have you noticed that? And so you don't have the
yeah.
same chemtrails there,
You know,
those,
I that's true. I posted a picture of a sunset
Mhm.
from my property, and I noticed all the chemtrails in that picture, and it was a beautiful sunset. And I thought, I haven't seen those lately
Right.
ar- around the farm. The
Yeah.
sky is actually beautiful again with all
Yeah.
those crazy streaks.
There was a guy, and this wasn't a day. Christy was watching a news story about it, but Disney was paying him hundreds of thousands of dollars to go back into the old Disney movies and put chemtrails in there. So to make it
Yeah.
look normal, so that people wouldn't question why the sky is so clear in those movies, and they don't look the same the way they do. But people do what works for them, works for them until it doesn't work anymore, or until they get caught in their deception of
Hmm.
propagating the they culture, the cancel culture. I mean, think about what you discovered in India with the cough syrup and the deaths of children.
Oh my goodness, evil is abounding,
Mhm.
you guys. And here's the thing, you can read anything on Facebook.
Right.
Anything. Don't believe everything that you see or hear. Vet it. My husband used to tell me all the time, have you vetted it, HT? That's
Yep.
what he
Yep.
called me.
Yep.
Vet it. Well, I saw this meme. It was a meme on Facebook that said 22 children in India have died from cough syrup. And I thought, that sounds like fake news. That sounds like something that somebody's trying to put out there that's just a bald-faced lie. And
Right.
I went and I vetted it through six or eight different news outlets. I can name them for you, but do your own research. And it's really true. What a horrible thing to find out that that is really true. But vet your stuff. 22 children. There was a pharmaceutical company in India that was putting the chemical used to make antifreeze in these children's
Right.
cough syrups. Awful, awful. Can you imagine being a parent and thinking that you're doing the right thing to help your kid feel better and you're really killing them? Can you believe that?
Mhm.
So vet everything. Don't just believe it. that case, it was true. We need to pray for the families in India that are going through that right now. But, research, research, research,
Right.
because they may be trying to kill you.
That's true. And of course, you've seen the pharmaceutical companies. Oh, well, there are only 22 million deaths in this
Yeah.
experimental thing.
Yeah, one is too many.
So, they'll pay a couple $1 billion fine and keep going. They already made their money.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
Reagan used to say trust but verify. I just say verify. Don't even trust. Don't even
that's
trust.
true. Yeah, yeah,
Verify.
yeah.
Because we live in a culture now that has so desensitized itself to deception. That
Hmm.
the ends justified the means. It even happens in church circles too. You got to be careful. You know, uh,
That's right.
you gotta take action, not be a part of the herd. You know, and again, I hate to say it, but I can tell you who you voted for if I see you driving with a mask on in your car. Different brain chemistry, folks. We
Hmm.
got to trust the sources. The Word of God is that. Interesting that fire grows when you feed it. Fire is an element that grows when you feed it. And fear, suspicion, all those things, they don't grow, they don't become relevant in your life until you feed them. You know,
Give them power.
you don't want to give them power. You don't want to feed
Mhm.
it, you know? And we were talking yesterday about quantum physics and things like that, and about how, certain things don't even stop moving until they're being observed. They know they're being observed.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
so wild.
it's crazy. And with that said, the point was, what are you feeding? Who are the they you're feeding?
Yeah.
Are you going to feed what they say, even when it's a lie, or in
Hmm.
a culture where it's okay to lie?
Yeah.
Because it's about the click anyway. So you know what I mean. That's why
Hmm.
it's important to go to the sources. Job thought he knew everything in his infinite wisdom, and
Yeah.
God had to give him a wake up call. So as we wind this down, Job learned the ultimate source of what he needed to be concerned with, not with all the wisdom that sounded like wisdom that his friends,
We're
were
telling
saying.
him.
You got to listen to what God says. What do you have to say about that, Heather?
Absolutely. I mean, God, you know, I think this is one point in the Bible where I can hear and imagine God actually getting angry at Job,
Yeah.
going, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Where were you when I set everything into orbit? Where were you when I placed the oceans and made them have tides and boundaries where they couldn't come upon the shore? Where were you? And
Yeah.
the bottom line is we he is our maker, he is our leader, he is our provider, and they don't matter.
Yeah. And in most cases, they don't exist. You know,
That.
I was in Cancun, and I'll tell you this real quick. There was this was many years ago, but there was a weird dock. It was fine, but you couldn't help but fall between the cracks, you know, and so it made no sense. You're looking at it, but it's just weird space. But I noticed if you look straight ahead, you saw a cross. The dock made a cross. And as long as I kept my eyes on the cross, I didn't miss a step.
Mm,
Know your facts. Keep your eyes on the cross. And it
yeah.
doesn't matter what if they even exist, say. And
Hmm.
you will not be a sheep. You'll be walking in the way of the cross, and you won't miss a step in this life.
Never, ever, ever. And your mindset, be too busy to care
Mhm.
about what they say.
Yeah. I'm too
Tap into
busy
the
to care.
source.
I'm too busy to care. I remember being, and we hit the mark on our recording time, but I never forget this neighbor girl. This was, gosh, I was just a kid, and I said something, and she goes, "Do you see care in these eyes? Do you see care in these eyes?" Sometimes we need to say that to people who don't even care about it. They don't care if they're telling the truth. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. So we need to say, "Do you see care in these eyes?" Be too
Hey,
busy to care. You know,
I got what
yeah.
I, I got one for you.
Okay.
So I was at church and a friend of mine was telling the story about her little girl
Uh-huh.
that loved telling knock knock jokes. And so she went up to her mother and she goes, get, I want to do a knock knock joke. So ask me knock knock. And so her mom goes, knock knock. And she goes, who cares? And that was the end of it. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is hysterical.
I love it. Knock, knock. Who's there? Who cares? Well, you know what? We have to cast our cares upon him, for he
Amen.
cares for us. So,
Oh,
how
yeah.
how many things are in your mind right now, folks, that are a distraction? You know, and this could be a different show, but the enemy of the best is the good. It can be good to care what people think, maybe, I don't know. But the best is to care what he thinks and to be too busy serving him, too busy winning, too busy, advancing the kingdom to care. I don't care what people think about me. I don't. I haven't for a long time, a very long time. And so, you know what? It's wonderful and free to live that way, because at the end of the day, only he matters. It matters what
Yeah.
he says, not what
Yeah.
they, even if they don't exist, have to say or think. So understand, understand you're in a track of time and a track of life. You're put here for a reason. This life is a test. This life is a gift. So navigate it and don't worry about the theys because they, if they exist, are too busy trying to figure out what they're going to do anyway. When I was a worship leader in different churches, you know, people were so worked up about the drum levels or the sound levels. And I said, look, the world doesn't care about how loud your drums are. The world cares why should I blow my brains out tonight? That's what the world is. So
Yeah.
don't focus on the wrong things. Don't major on the minors. Don't focus on the good things. Focus on the best things. The best things is to be a body of people and believers who are approachable and who love. We don't bow to anybody but God, but we are fearless. And they, at the end of the day, they matter to Him, but they don't matter, even if
Yeah.
they don't exist. So anyway, great show today, and I just pray people are free to unburden about what they think because they probably aren't even there. Are they in the room with us? And so anyway, but taking on the warrior mind again is to keep your eye on the mission, and it doesn't matter what anybody says or thinks. As long as you have peace in your heart, peace is the key. Keep your eye on the cross, and you won't miss a step. And be too busy to care what they
Yeah.
think.
That's right. We love you guys. We'll
Love
see you
you.
next week.